What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react to an interview with the official U.S. Ambassador to Canada. Excuse me, an interview with the official U.S. Ambassador to Canada, right? Pete Hoekstra. And, if you've seen any of the reactions that I've done previously to this guy, you'll know that I'm not a huge fan. But apparently, Vasi Kapelos with the CTV really grilled him about some Canada US relations talk and questions. So today, I really want to check this out and see exactly what this representative of the United States said to Canada. So let's take a look.
I have questioned many federal ministers about the efforts to diversify, the challenges previously, and the challenges that presents right now. But you framed the initial comment there around, taking issue with the fact that it's being described as a rupture. But you want us to refer to the comments from the president, for example, or the way in which he's described this country as simply noise. I'm presenting to you just like when you can.
This, I understand there's a lot of pretext to this whole situation. She's basically trying to encapsulate like this question about why Pete Hoekstra, the U.S. ambassador to Canada, is acting so nonchalant, I guess, about like a lot of the things that the United States and Donald Trump have said and done to threaten and hurt Canada. And she's just saying like, why? Why are you acting like this is not a big deal? Um, and I guess even he gets offended when like any of the Canadian press or anybody with half a brain points out that the United States has done this stuff. Um, I'm an American, but even I can pretty like easily see Canada's point of view on this. It's like, yeah, let's see what he has to say, though.
When you're wondering why there may be some hesitation not to further integration or make that sales pitch in the way you describe it, that perhaps is part of it, that part of the responsibility and the onus, the burden of that lies not just with Canada, but specifically with the president who decided to take aim at your close friend and neighbor.
Look at her. Before he even responds, because I'm sure this is going to be very juicy, I can just like already sense her frustration, like her, because she has a lot of things she wants to say, and it almost feels like she doesn't want to let him off the hook. She doesn't want Pete Hoekstra here, the U.S. ambassador to Canada, to like pretend he doesn't understand the question or that he doesn't understand the significance of the situation and the harm that's been. She's trying to just like say it all, and I sense like that frustration and annoyance, like just trying to make this guy understand why Canadians are upset at Donald Trump or the United States. And let's see what he has to say about all that.
And a neighbor.
We did not take aim at Canada.
Okay. I need a sip. It keeps me alive, keeps me sane. My Coke Zero. This is my Pete Hoekstra Coke Zero for today. I might need a couple sips. Might need to put something else, something extra strong in this Coke Zero, because he's already triggering me, and I'm the American here. I can only imagine what Canadians think about some of the stuff he says. But I think from the American point of view, it's just so like annoying for me because this guy represents me and my country, and he's making us look like idiots, like morons. And in many respects, we have made moronic decisions, but that doesn't mean we have to have this guy up there making us look even worse. So he says, no, his first comment here just got me. I'm sorry.
Friend and neighbor.
We did not take aim at Canada.
Oh my God.
Those statements are not taking aim, with all due respect, Ambassador.
Thank you. Oh man, she's okay. I like this. She's not letting him get away with stupid comments like that. Like, it's just annoying when people get up there and they deny reality, right? How annoying is that? I'll admit it's a good strategy if you don't have any argument. It's very hard to confront or argue against somebody who denies the reality, denies the facts. That, you know what? From his point of view, maybe that's a good strategy.
Take a look at your economic. We put tariffs on every country in the world. We did not take aim at Canada. We took a policy that we were implementing on a global basis that we believed we had to put in place to keep America strong and prosperous.
Didn't we literally do it to Canada first? That's another thing that they try to do is like hope that none of us remember. Like, it was like a year and a half or longer. It's been a while. And I think part of the strategy is like they hope we don't remember. It's like, what? Wasn't it like pretty much these tariffs and trade threats aimed at Canada first? Then later, there were some things like where Trump announced global tariffs, which ranged on a variety of levels and industries, but you can't deny that the majority or the bulk, the grunt of this tariff hostility has definitely been at Canada. So this defense of like, well, we did it to everyone. We shot you in the leg and we threw pebbles at, the other kids. So it's kind of the same thing, right?
So, there were only two countries that responded in a strongly negative way. Okay?
How dare you? Yeah, Canada. How dare you respond to a foreign government attacking you, threatening you, a president of the U.S. wanting to take you as annex you as part of the U.S., or even to imply that. And frankly, with some of the threats Trump has made towards Greenland, which he did again at the NATO summit the other day, by the way, which went beyond like just talk. Like, he was ready to mobilize part of our military at one point, but it didn't end up happening when push came to shove. But it's certainly a terrifying, it's not just baseless noise like this guy likes to put it. Like, a lot of the stuff Donald Trump says, it's like, oh, it's just stuff. It's just noise. Like, what? What are you talking about? We're living in a world where we're supposed to not take the president of the United States at face value and what he is literally saying. He has said how pissed off he is at Canada, how he doesn't want to do any business with you, and how difficult you are. And it's all like this weird backwards projection of like, that's really how Canada should feel about us, right? Like, I don't know. Am I going crazy?
The rest of the world, we've negotiated trade agreements. We've worked on frameworks and those types of things.
How dare you? How dare you, Canada, try to get a good trade deal? That's only for the United States. Only we get to negotiate terms that benefit us. You're not allowed. You're very bad if you do that.
We did not take aim at Canada.
Really? And
I know she's not trying to be funny. She's not trying to be funny, but this, like, she kind of cracks me up because I think I'm glad she's saying it like that. Like, really? Really?
really? And I ask with great respect, because yes, you did apply tariffs to other countries, but you initially applied 232 fentanyl-associated tariffs to Canada. And wherein the president, did not refer to every other country in the way that, as I cataloged, he has referred to Canada. I understand that you're upset with the
Perfect. Perfect. Exactly what I was thinking. I'm so glad she's saying this. What's his response to this?
has referred to Canada. I understand that you're upset with the response that Canada made.
I'm not upset. It doesn't
the
bother
president.
me.
Okay, you don't.
Said no one ever who wasn't actually upset. You know they're upset. If you're not upset, you're like, there's a natural reaction where it's like, you don't even really feel the urge to defend it, or like to be like, I'm not upset. I'm not upset. I'm not upset. Like, if you're not upset, you're going to be pretty calm, collected. He is so adamant. Like, this is not making me upset. It's making you upset. It's okay. It's making you upset.
View the response from Canada positively. But from where I sit, it seems like you're frustrated with the idea that when Canada got punched, they didn't just lay there.
Yes, exactly. Good way to put it. He's upset. For one thing, it's a tough job that he has defending the actions and policies of Donald Trump. That's a difficult job. I'll give it to him. But he seems to take a lot of he seems to genuinely be on Donald Trump's side and try to defend these positions and defend these decisions that are governed, and it's just not working. Like, they're just not defendable. So I'm glad she's really grilling him about this, because, as an American, I'm actually curious about some of the thought processes that my own government is having. So it's like kind of nice to see from an outside perspective, in a way, like Canadians grilling this U.S. government representative, because it benefits me too. Because I want him to answer for all this stuff. I want to understand what we're doing.
Frustrated with the idea that when Canada got punched, they didn't just lay there.
Right. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. When Canada got punched, you didn't just accept it. Which, frankly, if the same exact situation were to happen to the United States, I would hope we would react the exact same way Canada has reacted to us. So it's really quite hypocritical for us to act like Canada is acting unreasonably.
That, Canada can have whatever response it wants. Okay, we are.
Well, apparently not. Apparently not, because we're absolutely pissed, and we're making trade policy decisions based off of this. And if Canada responds in a negative way, we respond in another negative way, even though we started it. So don't just sit there and be like, well, you can do what you want. It's like, no, because for one thing, we're causing these reactions. We are the catalyst causing all this. It's like, it's just not productive to say stuff like that. It's like,
we are willing to do business with Canada. The president has made that clear.
Okay, so I know this interview was like a week ago, or could be 2 weeks ago, well, we're in the future now. And the CUSMA trade agreement, the big Canada, US, Mexico trade agreement, it wasn't renewed. The United States and Trump, didn't approve it. So we're in the future, and I know what he's saying is literally not true. We're not willing to do business because of what just happened. It's a huge fail. So that's not true.
He embraced the agreement back in October for 5 huge sectors of this economy, saying we were willing to invest, we were willing to cooperate and create a framework that we thought would be good for America and we thought would be good for Canada, and that we would then take that and expand it to other sectors of a total agreement.
So is he saying we're it kind of sounds like he's saying like, well, we do some business with Canada still. Yeah, cuz it's good for the United States. We act like that's another thing that's annoying. We act like Canada is asking so much to want to do free trade and business and open a new bridge between our country. We act like we're doing you such a favor. This is all good for the United States. We're benefiting too. So it's like when he starts going on like, well, we do some stuff for Canada. You know, we open up 1 or 5 different sectors of trade and we've allowed. Duh, because it's good for us too.
Like, how would you describe the status of talks between Canada and the United States right now?
I think, like we started off with, we're not at a point where we believe that we're close to even announcing a framework or an interim agreement.
Didn't he just say we're like open and willing and open to do business with Canada? And then in the literal next sentence, he's like, we're not even close to any kind of trade framework. At least he's being honest about that. But talk about mixed messaging. What the hell are we doing?
And, I think the next discussion, again, has to be a discussion between potentially the president and the prime minister in terms of, where we're headed. Or you'll see the president.
From what I understand, Canada is like very willing to have these talks and negotiations. I've seen clips of like Carney saying as much. So I can't help but think like it's really our end, like Donald Trump, who's probably difficult to get a hold of and get his attention span, to have these talks that are so important between our leaders. I agree that would be good. But like, is it going to happen?
President come out, and you could see the prime minister come out and just make a statement as to this is where we see it going, and this is the direction that I've given to my team.
So if 7 months ago the possibility, like the 10,000-foot view of what is possible was possible, why is it not possible to arrive at the same at a similar 10,000-foot point of view right now?
I don't think.
I like this is another thing I've noticed when Canadians have to deal with like American politicians like Pete Hoekstra, Donald Trump. Canadians are very good at like coddling us because you just feel what side of this conversation has such a ego, such a defensiveness or aggression. It's the American side. And this Canadian woman, this journalist, is very good at like making sure she has to protect his ego and be like and frame the questions so he can't weasel his way out of them. And I just got to say I do appreciate that.
On the Canadian part, I don't think folks recognize the impact of what happened in October and November. The president and the prime minister, I think they really believe leaving on October 7th. We've got a framework for an agreement here. We just need our teams to go back and fill it out a little bit. And
October? Like almost a year ago? Is that what? We're talking about we laid something out a year ago? That was a year ago.
That was the perception that we were well on our way to making that happen. I think the prime minister has even said that it was very, very close to having an agreement. And then, poof, it's all gone.
The prime minister of Canada said we were close. Then poof, it was all gone. Who do you think was responsible for that poof?
And so that I think raises lots of questions about how do we get back there? A lot of people were speculating, well, when do the talks get back on track? They'll get back on track after a month. We'll get over it. I thought it would take a little bit longer. I said, you know, you'll go into the first quarter of 26, and I could see it happening. In reality,
Why do we have these totally arbitrary? It's just so annoying. It's just so annoying. I hate it. I hate politics. American politics especially. I hate how vague and ambiguous our government is, how defensive, how you never get a straight answer, and the answers you get are bad. At least with a lot of this Canada US stuff. It's really embarrassing.
they've never gotten back on track the same way that we've had progress with the Mexicans on getting to an agreement.
Pete Huckstra came into this interview hoping to explain Washington's position. Instead, he left facing questions he never seemed comfortable answering.
Yeah.
What Canadians witnessed wasn't just an awkward interview, it was a glimpse into a changing relationship. A relationship where Canada is no longer automatically accepting American talking points.
True.
A relationship.
Yeah. I mean, neither am I. By the way, neither am I. I think every American out there should check out stuff like this. Check out what our representatives are saying to other countries like Canada, that one of our most important, international, if not the most important relationship we have with another country. Because I think a lot of us are totally unaware of how badly we're screwing this up. And so, I was glad to take a look at this and understand all that, but it's so frustrating. And I can only imagine how frustrating this must be for Canadians who have to see this, and see that this is what you have to work with. This is who you have to work with, or you don't have to. As a matter of fact, Canada is taking a lot of steps to not work with the United States. And you can see why, frankly. So, this was extremely disappointing as an American. But, it's good to be aware of these things. So, anyway, if you enjoyed this, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment, especially if you're Canadian. Your thoughts about all this stuff. That'd be cool to hear about. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Canadian things that I haven't seen before, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.